Well, as I said, career choice is a very, very important decision. It determines the course of your life. But at the same time, it's a very, very tough decision too. Most of us have either faced it or are still going through it. But in India, it is highly limited by the subject choice that we make in class 10. And even in class 10, students don't know, what should I take that stream of subjects, should I take the other one, what should I do? Plus adding to that their family, societal and peer pressures as well. And all of us as in students, and parents and teachers have some preconceived notions that this is a good career, this is not a good career. This won't fetch you money, this won't fetch you any success, but maybe if you are an engineer, a chartered accountant, or into medical line, or if you do an MBA, that is the career. And everybody is trying to blindly follow these specific careers instead of thinking, in spite of giving some thought to what could be their calling in life, what could be something that they really enjoy to do. So now, as I said, EG Career Directions is the EG Involves initiative, where we say that since successful career is the ultimate aim for all of us, and these days, although in spite of the youngsters being very, very focused and determined generation, still there are so many options that it is bound that one would get confused. As I said earlier, also repeating myself, no universally right career. What is right career for you is the one in which you feel satisfied. Now, where you would feel satisfied is depending upon different needs of yours. Initially, most of us think that maybe earning money is the most important thing in life, and if you are earning good amount of money, I would be satisfied in life. But then we see so many people changing their careers. After a few years in a particular industry or a job, they say, oh, I'm not satisfied. I'm getting money, but that's not what I want in life. Yes, people do change, but then maybe they got into a profession that was not meant to be actually for them. Right person in the right place. That is what gives rise to a successful career. Now, as we in the Ivy League Conclave, we all know that education is a huge amount of investment of time, of energy, and of course money. So we don't want students to get into something just like the fact that everybody is going abroad for education. My parents want me to go abroad for education, so let me also do it. Without really thinking which course I'm suited for, which stream of study I'm suited for, whether I'm really investing my energy and money into something which is worthwhile, which is going to stay with me forever. And even after, with experience over the years with people, I have discovered that in spite of being in a particular career for years and years together, people still remain puzzled. They say that maybe I'm not meant for it. I'm not enjoying it. And they do not have that kind of an insight into their own self that it really requires to first to take a decision and then to stick to it in the long run. Our career mapping services, EG's career mapping services, they help students to make informed career decisions. And we try to match psychological correlates with career choices. Now, what are psychological correlates? We'll come to that later on. We try to adopt objective and scientific means of knowing what a person is and then suggest a career choice. It's not that we do not take into account what you want to be or what your parents want you to be. And finally, we combine the situational, the familial factors along with what we find into psychological assessments, and we communicate this through the personal attention and counseling process. Now, a brief idea about how do we help to find the right career, the components. Okay, so the components, as I said, the psychological correlates is one part of it. We assess the IQ, personality aspects, interest, I mean career interest. The ability. You may want to do CA, but you may not have a very good numerical ability. Now what will you do? You will keep on slogging with it. You may still, with a lot of slogging and extreme hard work, you may actually become a CA. But would you really enjoy it? On the other hand, had you been very, very good with verbal ability, you enjoy writing, but you think that writers or journalists, they do not make that amount of money that the CA does, and that is why I got into I got into CA, being a CA rather than being a journalist. So would you really feel satisfied throughout your life, and would you want a career change later on in life? So this is the ability that we're talking about. You start to like what you are good at. If you are doing something good, you tend to develop a liking for it as well. And then there's something called a career code. What we call a career code is how is your personality related to the career interest that you have. All of us are unique people. But there are certain categories. Just like, we have sun signs, we have categories in personalities as well. And certain types of personalities tend to like certain job patterns. They feel satisfied in certain industries, they feel satisfied in certain work cultures, they have certain skills, they have certain values that give them satisfaction. And EQ, emotional quotient. In the morning session, there was some talk about emotional intelligence, and it was being said that universities abroad pay a lot of attention to how much is your intellectual quotient, how emotionally intelligent you are. Now, to say a couple of words about sentences about it, emotional intelligence is the ability to feel or to judge the other person's emotions very wisely, and also to recognize your own emotions and having control over them. It's a very, very important aspect of your ability. I'm sorry. When it comes to handling pressures in life, it's extremely important. And yes, it's personal counseling. You have the ability, you have the interest, your parents are willing, but you are not sure. So there's something stopping you. So at times we have to get into things like priority setting, conflict management, what is stopping you, helping the person analyze what he or she wants through systematic thought analysis. So, in very simple words, we try to find a match between what you enjoy doing and what you are good at doing. Because scientific research shows that something that one you can do and you also enjoy to do would actually lead to a successful career which you are likely to stick throughout your life. Now, very briefly, our stages are pre-assessment counseling, in which we try to know the person on an individual level, trying to know the family, the background, the situation that the person has been in, the tentative aims, if the person has any. If the person does not have any aim, that could be even more confusing. Then we go for a detailed psychological assessment. As I enumerated the psychological correlates, like IQ, aptitudes, abilities, interests, and then finally, we collaborate the first stage and the second stage findings. What the person wants to do, what the family wants him to do, what they can afford, and what they cannot. And finally, we go on a post-assessment session. This I've already explained. Now, 2 minutes on what is the relevance for Ivy League students of a psychological counseling. The relevance is that the Ivy Leagues are definitely looking for the cream students, and actually the best of the lot makes it to them. So you have to actually make use of the best propositions that are available for you. You really cannot leave out anything, you cannot leave any stone unturned. It is always wise to do a psychological assessment and have an insight into your true psychological characteristics, and then evaluate your abilities and finally decide your aims.